If you can stop, please.
So may I come in?
Please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Megha. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, Medha is your first name.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
Sir, Buddhi, Medhavi Chhatra. It's an intelligent.
Well, you certainly are, and you do look.
Thank you.
Where are you coming from right now?
Sir, from my room here in Rajendra Nagar, sir.
Okay. How long have you been waiting here?
So I think 1 hour.
So, what did you do with the hour?
Sir, I was just reading through the articles related to railways. I thought they might be asked here. So
All right. Then we are going to ask you. But before that, you are with the Indian Railways?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is a new service, Railway Management Service, is it? No.
Sir, mine was the last IRTS batch, sir. Traffic service.
Traffic, okay.
Yes, sir.
So you have a choice between remaining there or joining the new one.
Sir, not yet, sir. It is for level 16 and above right
All right. Now, today's newspapers. Would you like to list for us 5 important news items, important from your point of view, 3 in respect of India, happening in India, 2 outside India.
Okay, sir. So one, I'll say the farmers' protest and their demands. That is one of the ongoing issues, sir. Sir, on the international front, I can recall, sir, the Rafah border, where Israel is again planning to attack. Sir, with respect to India, sir, one is the Sandesh Khali incident that is taking place in West Bengal right now. And, sir, on the international aspect, I would go for, sir, what all Mr. Trump is saying regarding the NATO members. And, so one more domestic news. So that can be related to railways or something I read, but I'm not able to recall.
How is the bullet train doing? When can we get into the bullet train?
So maybe in a few years we'll be able to travel in it, sir. So the work is going on fine. Some percentage of land acquisition is left, but the technical aspects have been given. The DPR has been given a go-ahead. So we'll see it soon in reality, sir.
But you are being very diplomatic. You said in a few years.
Yes, sir.
You did not want to say in 2025, 26, 27.
So if everything goes right, we'll see it soon, sir. But I just hope there are no more glitches in between. So I'll not ascribe a date to it. If we don't get into some sort of a litigation or if there is a problem in land acquisition, I hope things will be
So
fine.
that is the main problem, land acquisition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you are from Meerut.
Yes, sir.
What's the population?
Sir, I'll have to read more on it, sir.
All right. What's the population of Uttar Pradesh?
Sir, it is 20 crore.
India?
So 134 crore.
134.
Yes, sir.
That is 2011 census or what is it?
It's a 2011 census.
But you know that the train has moved.
Yes, sir.
So where are we?
So we'll be soon overtaking China. So
Well,
I think
we are overtaken China.
already, yes, sir. So it'll be difficult to again give a specific digit to it because unless the census is done, we'll not be sure of the exact digits.
Why do you think it will be accurate when the census is done? How long does the census take to be done? Meaning once it starts,
Yes.
how many days, how many weeks?
So I'm not sure. I'll have to read on it, sir.
Well, let's imagine 2 months.
Yes, sir.
Well, then people die.
Yes, sir.
So those whom you have counted as living.
Yes, sir.
So census is never accurate.
True, sir.
And there are other ways of knowing the actual population. Please.
MEDHA, what are the major problems faced by Indian Railways?
So one is the funds aspect that is faced, the crunch of funds that we face. So for any safety initiative that we need to take, a lot of funds are required, and I think we lack on that aspect. So second, I would say with the coming up of the IRMS, we have a difficulty in making the curriculum of that service because it will have to include all the aspects from accounts, engineering, civil, mechanical, everything. So third, I would say that we face a lot of competition from Indian Roadways, which gives last mile connectivity as compared to railways, which doesn't give that last mile connectivity. So fourth, I would say in terms of bulk commodities, so coal is a major earner for us. And once we shift to the renewable energy, we'll be losing our prime commodity in that terms.
One of the allegation made against railways is that ever since this Vande Bharat have been started,
Yes.
the other trains have gone into neglection. Have you traveled by other trains? I travel by other trains.
Yes.
So there's sense of hygiene, sanitation, much remains to be desired. Although we have some very good trains where everything is so hunky-dory, like we have Shatabdis, we have Vande Bharat, and so, and they just account for 10 to 15% of the population, but 80-85% is still catering to the general public. Is the railway aware about it? I wonder.
Yes, sir.
They are aware.
Yes, sir.
What do they do?
So one is that with time we are giving the cleaning contracts to private parties, so that we are able to get better services for the general population.
They are not coming on time. There's usual delay. The app is also showing consistently 21% delay. If you go to IRTC site, the average delay by railway is acknowledged on the platform is 21%.
Yes, sir.
And it remains 21%. I don't know why. For a couple of years at least. It has not come down one fraction. How do they don't read the delay or they don't mind it?
So with respect to the punctuality, sir,
Yeah.
we can't so raise the speed because the tracks remain the same. Even the Vande Bharat is scheduled for 180 kmph, but it cannot move beyond 130 kmph. So it is because of the tracks. The infrastructure is still not that good. It doesn't allow us to move really fast. So second is
Then
that
who asked you to structure it in a way that it reaches your target in this way? You can fix the target accordingly, depending upon the track conditions.
so we are probably aiming for the future wherein our tracks will be renewed. So the train should move at 180, and with time we'll upgrade the tracks, and with time we'll provide better services, sir.
Okay, how do you pick up the mandala art? Tell us about it.
Sir, it was a normal thing I saw on a Facebook profile of one of my friends, and it intrigued me because it was not that difficult. I was generally not so artistic, not good at drawing, but then mandala art was not somebody was some which was something for the beginners to say, because it is very simple, sir. It is just concentric circles filled with different shapes based on one's moods and stress and anxiety levels in life, sir.
I find that it's very intricate also. It involves, friend's daughter is doing it and I find it very challenging. He told me that it takes about a couple of months to prepare one. How long
Yes.
do you take?
So I make very smaller ones, the ones on like A4 sheets of papers, divided into two parts. I make small circles,
Okay.
and I'm able to finish it soon, sir.
Okay, okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ghungat versus torn jeans. What do you advocate for the young girls today?
Ma'am, I think it must be related to the choice of whoever is pursuing it. But Ghungat has a problem that it is a sort of gender biased. When we say that a woman should have Ghungat on her head, I don't really understand the sheer logic behind this
Rural
thing.
women, they all have to have ghungat.
Yes, ma'am.
So how, suppose you are the DM and you are visiting, so it's as you said, it is a crusade for women empowerment. How would you convince the village women themselves to give it up?
Ma'am, in a very short term, it will be very difficult to convince them because they have been doing it for the past years. They've seen their mothers, their grandmothers do the same thing. And for them, it is but natural. It is something which comes with the attire. So I would like to focus on the educational aspect of those women. Once they get educated, they'll understand that there was some flaw in the system. Because if I tell them that, you know what, you should not do it, perhaps they might not understand the veracity of this statement. Because for them, it is something which doesn't change their economic independence in any way.
In urban areas, it's generally the clothing blamed for violence that the girls face. Do you agree to that then?
Absolutely.
That's totally their choice.
Yes.
But then
Ma'am, I think the problem lies with the mindset of the person who's committing the crime. It is not somebody's dress which might propagate such violence. Because if a person is not happy with someone's dress and he goes on to raping another woman, this is certainly no excuse. This is probably a sort of a false narrative we create so as to shift
then
the
what do you
blame.
understand by collective consciousness?
Ma'am, it is something which everybody adheres to, which like people don't question generally, and it has been there for years, and so
So
it goes
both
on.
these examples are result of collective consciousness.
True,
So
ma'am.
basically, you have to hit on to the collective consciousness levels, no?
Yes.
And the gender norms, can you sort of relate it with gender norms? The day the child is born, okay, pink for girls and blue for boys. How do you relate this? I mean, we have to change the consciousness from the
Yes.
day it happens. How would you do it?
Ma'am, something has to be done with the schooling, I would say, because after the funds family, it is in schools that such norms are getting reinforced each day. When we say that this sport is a little manly, it subscribes some sort of a gender norm to to that sport. If we say, okay, we are judging a woman's clothes, again there is some stereotyping attached with it. So I think first thing is to start it with schools, because that will be easier for the administration to get into. With time, we can get into the domestic spheres as well. If we are able to teach those young girls that this is okay, this is not okay. You should play all sorts of sports, for example, and you can do good in maths. You can drive well, or it's not your responsibility to maybe cook at home or fetch water. With time, they'll start questioning this at home when they see their maybe mothers doing it and father objecting to it.
So in your workplace, what kind of a discrimination you faced? You must have. So any specific incident that you feel you faced because you were a woman?
Ma'am, in railways, we have two departments. One is operating, which is physically challenging, and one is the commercial one, which is more of a desk job, so as to say, where one has to maintain files. So it is very casually said that, oh, you're a woman, so you'll be entering into commercial. The operating is for
So
the
you
men.
still have to break the glass ceiling.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard of this Sapinda marriage?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
Ma'am, similar pin, like it is a
It was in news recently. Why?
Ma'am, because a woman filed in the court that the man wanted to get a divorce because the marriage was sapinda, and the woman said that she's not ready for it because in her ma'am, in her culture and customs, that was not the practice. So that's why.
Thank you.
You were in the railways, you mentioned the track problems, right?
Yes.
But do you really think it's such a big thing? Because you're a civil engineer. So the track is a very simple engineering structure. So what's the problem?
So with respect to the punctuality, sir.
No,
Sir.
with respect to track handicaps,
Yes, sir.
you see the bogies and all are already fit for 180.
Yes, sir.
So, and tracks in some very few places are fit for 160.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the problem with upgrading those tracks?
So it would require a lot of funds, sir.
Why?
So because we'll have to shift to newer technologies right
What
now.
newer technology? How do you spring? What is the springing of the track about?
So I think right now we're using 60 kg per meter track for the iron. So we need to upgrade it so that it is able to handle more axle load. So then
No,
there
there
are.
is no additional axle load. The axle load is the axle load. Vande Bharat is a light train.
Yes, sir.
We've not given a thought to it. Okay, because basically it's a land formation and springing you have those panderols and all that. I was long time back in railways. So, and it is the, larger tolerances which the railway civil engineers have given themselves to save themselves. There is nothing much great about upgrading to smaller levels of 180 to 200. You talk to some people. Okay. It's simple lethargy. That's all. Okay. So now simple lethargy and responsibility would come to the civil engineering department to maintain exact dimensions.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that these two things basically. But it would be better now because I'm ancient to talk to your railway people on this. Because if there's someone railway background this side, then it becomes difficult. Now, how would you increase line capacity? You said there is a line capacity restraint. Again, you are in the traffic service. Basically, everyone says line capacity, line capacity. So, how can line capacity be improved?
So one is we can have lesser turnaround time. There is, I think, a Scott's formula that determines the line capacity, and we already have a line capacity of, I think, 130%. So once we shift the freight trains to the dedicated freight
No,
corridors,
that is old argument.
yes,
Goes on and on like that. But given the current state of technology, how can you improve line capacity?
so better infrastructure, easy
No,
automatic
these are
signaling.
pat answers you're giving.
Yes, sir.
So basically, it's a matter of signaling and automatic
Automatic
signaling.
signaling. Yes, sir.
You see, your Mumbai suburban trains
Yes.
move one after the other.
Yes, sir.
All right, so it is a matter of signaling. So again, I would request you to talk to some electrical engineer and understand this, because you are in traffic.
Yes, sir.
You are in traffic or commercial?
Sir, right now in operating traffic.
Traffic. So the more the reason that you should know that.
Yes.
How will you increase your yard efficiency?
So one is to have lesser number of turnouts, the points and crossings, lesser number of those. So second would be to ensure that they are properly connected with the signals. So because if there is a problem like that happened in Balasore, it was showing green light, but then it took a turn. So the loop,
No, I said yard.
yes,
I'm not talking of main line, I'm talking of yard.
yes,
So basically, you need to look at those, at least line capacity increase, given the present level of technology, that you should find out. I should have said all this in feedback, saying it right away, and the track upgradation. These two things. Because what you are saying are very typical departmental answers. Okay, coming to sociology, how would you compare Durkheim with Weber?
So Durkheim was the original founder of one amongst the founder, and Sir Weber was the one who went for our understanding of bureaucracy, sir. So while Weber focused on class, status, and power, Sir Durkheim was more of a functionalist scholar who gave why there is a common consciousness between people and how societies progress from mechanical solidarity to organic solidarity with rising populations.
Can you give some examples from Durkheim did a small chapter or whatever on suicides. So can you give a very small summary, 5 lines, on what he said on suicides?
So he gave a sociological theory of suicide rather than going for the psychological aspect. He said that suicide depends on two things: forces of regulation and forces of integration. The lack of it or a lot of it can push a whole system into suicidogenic instances, wherein he said that people even tend to follow one another in suicidal atmospheres. So, sir, if there is a lot of integration in the society, for example, if a society is very close bound, then any problem with it will lead to suicide of one. For example, in some cases, we see that the elder people commit suicide so that the resources are left for the rest of the people.
Okay, so let's get away from this.
Yes.
And what has been the total investment committed for Uttar Pradesh in the last business summit?
So I'm not able to recall the exact.
What have been the major initiatives by the current Uttar Pradesh government?
So we have a logistics policy which will provide a single window clearance for all the industries that are trying to come up. So along with it, we are providing land on an easier basis. The leasing and all has been the.
What do you understand by single window? You get your stuff here and you get the stuff out here.
So,
How does the single window operate?
So rather than visiting multiple offices for multiple clearances, a person or an industrialist can just visit one office and get all the clearances.
Which office?
Sir, I'll have to read more on it, sir. I think.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So has there been any change in the registration policy with a view to, I think I'm exceeding my time.
Not an
I
issue,
think
sir.
I spent, I spent a lot, I spent a lot of time with the train.
MEDHA, Gangotri, Swapnalok, Ganganagar, Ganga is calling out.
Yes, sir.
So, what are the three pillars of Namami Gange and what are the objectives?
So one is to clean Ganga because we have to reduce the BOD and COD. So second, we have to control both the non-point as well as point sources which are leading to the pollution levels. So third is we are involving people, volunteers, to ensure that the areas around Gangas remain pollution free from the industrial effluent, sir.
All right. Uttarakhand, they have submitted that Uniform Civil Code.
Yes, sir.
So, would you like to discuss what are the aspects which draw attention from your point of view for controversy?
So one would be the live-in relationship and their registration, which is actually giving punishment if one is not registering or deregistering a live-in relationship. So second is that so this would be, I think, the major point of contention that remains.
All right, let's discuss this. Why should the government try and regulate the live-in?
So the
Obvious reasons, there were so many murders, two of them were right in the head. But now the government wants to get into your kitchen, they want to get into your bar, they want to get into your drawing room, now you're including your bedroom.
yes.
So is this good enough as far as your individual freedom is concerned?
So this should have been a more thought of before bringing out this UCC, sir, because I think that this will not be good either for either of the two parties, because then they will be subjected to threats by their neighbors as well. If somebody goes on to complaining that they have not registered with the Registrar General, so that will be a point.
And
for
what
them.
if they keep switching partners, like one time live in here, the other one live in this, they'll keep registering? And then what happens to their records if they tomorrow decide to get married to the third person?
Yes,
Then
sir.
what?
So then their right to privacy will get violated because.
All right. My last question to you. India faces a lot many internal threats as far as security is concerned. North to south, can you list them down? Just point from tuck.
Sir, the farmers' protest is happening. Sir, first we'll go for J&K, where there is internal unrest because they want seats.
Terrorism. Okay, next.
So second is the farmers' protest. So then I would go on to again there is a farmers' protest which is for different reason, for the acquisition of land. So then there is this Maratha reservation thing that is going on. So then we have Naxal area in the east, Naxalite movement. So then the Dravidian movement happening, wherein it is based on language and also.
Okay. Length and breadth, you're not bothered.
So I just went not
Okay,
to.
not to serve. All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, we are finished with the formal part. The train will return very fast. We'll ring a bell.
Sure, sir.
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.